Welcome to the Final Hour podcast, coming to you from the original Living Word Christian Center out of Minneapolis, Minnesota. My name is Jim Hammond.
I'm Lonaiah Farrell.
I'm John Gap.
I'm JD.
This is Jerry. JD short for Jerry. Jerry short for Jeremiah.
Wow.
Jeremiah is short for legend. I'm still trying to get that one
You
going.
are, John.
It hasn't
It's not picking
taken
up.
off yet, but in my heart,
Not that you're not legendary. It's just,
not
I
me.
mean,
He
apparently
is.
Joe Mauer wasn't a legend, but Jeremiah is a legend.
I just was never thoroughly impressed with him. Listen, but you never got to see Johnny Bench play.
No, I was way
anyways.
too young for that.
Yes, the greatest all-time catcher that's ever lived.
We did
All
Google that one time. We had a
Anyways.
debate about
Yes.
who was the best catcher.
Okay, just quickly, countries that we have this information that Apple Podcast and Spotify together.
And what's that other one? Rumble.
No, this is
not
not Rumble.
Rumble?
No, this is Apple Podcast and Spotify together. Is that people have listened? Canada, Australia, Guatemala, New Zealand, United Kingdom, Singapore, India, Sweden, Ireland, South Africa, Costa Rica, Malaysia, Norway, Indonesia, the Netherlands, Romania, Mexico, the Philippines, Germany, Jamaica, Spain, Virgin Islands, Finland, the Netherlands, Denmark, Ukraine, Poland, France, Switzerland, Italy, Israel, Cyprus, Belgium, Puerto Rico, Greece, Taiwan, Serbia, Fiji, Iceland, Brazil, Dominican Republic, Nicaragua, United Arab Emirates, Colombia, Hong Kong, Portugal, Kenya, Belize, Turkey, Slovakia, Morocco, Senegal,
Wow.
Japan, the Kingdom of Jordan, Qatar, Latvia, Vietnam, Egypt, Argentina, Peru, Slovenia, Bulgaria, Thailand, Hungary, and the Czech Republic.
was pretty sure you were going to break out into the Animaniacs, all of the countries of the world song.
I thought it sounded more like the Olympics when he's
Yeah.
reading the country, then the Olympians walk out holding the flag for their... I'm so excited for the Olympics.
We know.
When does it start?
Isn't it like end of July, beginning of August? Something days, like, right? Didn't you say it to me the other
Something
day?
days.
30
something
days or
away.
something? I
think
like
it's
it. I like the
sometimes
Olympics.
Mid-July, I think.
Yeah.
I did tell you when we were 30 days away, yes.
Yeah, you did. It was last week, so we were closer. Anyway,
Yep. So it works.
it was. Yeah, it is how it works, isn't it, John?
It is. We're recording on a Wednesday.
We are.
This time, does it feel weird?
It does. Because the 4th of July is tomorrow, the birth of America.
Independence Day.
I hate holidays on a week like that because it kills us for the weekend. I mean, trying to get
Attendance-wise.
Work-wise.
no the message, trying to get the message done. You lose a day. We lose tomorrow because she's got to have a day off. So
Jim, it's the 4th of July.
I'm messing around.
Technically, the entire staff gets Thursday and Friday off, but I'm taking one for the team and only taking Thursday off.
Yeah, but you make
You
up
get
for that a
hazard
bunch
pay?
of other days.
When, Jim? When do I make that up? When? When's the last time I took a vacation? When?
You've taken multiple vacations, and so
I feel like I'm here all the time.
same.
You are.
Yeah.
But, well, thanks for helping me out on Friday there, Lonaiah. And so, anyways, as we get into today's...
My pleasure.
As we get into today's podcast, I hope that wasn't too much screwing around for you. But
It wasn't.
I have to say,
It wasn't. I need to.
I know a lot of good Catholics. Some of the best people I know are Catholics. I've had neighbors that are very devout Catholics for 27 years, and they're some of the best people, one of the best families I know. There's Catholics that pray in tongues. There's Catholics that get on Billy Brim's prayer phone call every day. There's all types of Catholics, and the goal is not to convert Catholics here. Really what it is, it's to keep, I want to say, first of all, Living Word church members, but second of all, Protestants from converting to Catholicism.
Yeah.
which Catholicism is always, they're always trying to convert Protestants. Huge pushes towards, so you guys, Catholics, can convert our people, but we can't tell our people how you got started and how your popes acted for 15 centuries, the holy men in charge of the whole religion. And so last week we left off at Martin Luther and the Reformation and the revelation he had, which it's not really a revelation. I mean, it's all over the New Testament. You could say it's still a revelation today because most churches do not preach this. They're not aware of this. It's a gift that Jesus Christ gave us on the cross through the resurrection. And I'm talking about, you can see it in Romans 5:17. For if because one man's offense, that's Adam, death reigned through his offense. Through that one, much more surely will those who receive God's overflowing grace, unmerited favor, and free gift of righteousness. Free gift, putting them in right standing with God, reign as kings in life. And so this is talking about this life. This is not talking about heaven, reigning as a king in life, those who receive an abundance of grace and the gift of righteousness. These are the Christians that reign in life. All right? In the Greek, it's an ever-present receiving. That means you're more than just aware about it. The gift of righteousness in the New Testament does not mean how good you act. All right? The definition of the gift of righteousness in the New Testament, when you see that word righteousness, is the ability to stand before God without a sense of guilt or inferiority and have mastery over the devil. That's Greek scholars coming with that definition. Or it can mean cleared from all guilt in God's eyes. That's when you see the word righteousness in the New Testament. So this is what we're talking about. Righteousness essentially is the same thing as justified. So the just in God's eyes shall live by faith.
Well, good.
So being justified, acquitted. That's what justified means. You're acquitted because you believe in the death, burial, and resurrection of Jesus Christ. You are justified in God's eyes. And so Martin Luther, realizing this changed everything. The book of Hebrews deals with this. The book of Galatians deals with this. And even more so, the book of Romans. And Martin Luther was like, you know what? This is not what the Catholic Church is telling us.
Right.
This is not what the Pope is communicating. So on October 31st, 1574, Martin Luther nailed his 95 Thesis to the door of the Wittenberg Catholic Church and started the Reformation, the completely changed history. Many historians, not just Bible college or Bible scholars, many historians, secular historians, call this the single most important event in history. Because if this wouldn't have happened, we may still be in the Inquisition. People might still be being burned at the stake. All right? And so the Catholic Church excommunicates Martin Luther as a heretic. They told him you have to retract everything in your 95 Thesis within 60 days or we're going to burn you at the stake. And that's what happened to anyone back then that disagreed with the Pope. Why am I hearing little crowd sounds in my note?
It sounds like someone's like doing work out there or something. Sounds like a machine.
I think the electric cart went by.
So the Reformation in the 16th century was an attempt to return to the original Christianity that got rolling.
The kind of the pre to that story that you read last week, as far as Martin Luther's journey to that part, because you were saying he was a tortured soul, and
yes. Never had peace.
I hadn't heard that before. I only picked up the story, when he's like, hold on a second, this is different than what the church is preaching, and I think that was really impactful. But just growing up, even in high school, when you kind of start talking about Protestantism, when I was in a private school, Christian school, I can just imagine walking up to the doors of that cathedral and just pounding that nail in with those.
He was probably
all
pretty
those
proud
words.
that day.
Well, I think he was defiant. I don't know if he was proud, but he's like, we've been leading people astray.
And then they did something called they called it a bull, where
the papal bull,
where they told him that he had 60 days to retract his 95 thesis. And from, I think, within 12 days of him getting that, he burned it publicly, burned it.
Yeah.
And so they were trying to.
I would have been friends with him.
The Reformation is an attempt to go back to the Christianity, really, of Acts, of the New Testament.
Yeah.
The kind of thing where everyone got to read the Bible, right?
Yep.
Religious freedom, which absolutely had not been the case. And from there, you had the Counter-Reformation wars that went on for centuries. People, really the Pope ordering kings to exterminate large groups of people is what that was. We mentioned those different wars in the last episode. You had the war on the German Protestants from 1556 to 1609, 53 years of war. Also in the Netherlands, 53 years of war in the Netherlands, same dates. The Huguenot Wars in France, 1572 to 1598. King Philip invaded England in 1598. These wars were all started and executed by Catholic kings who were either appointed by the Pope into their position or they were under complete control of the Pope and were made to make war on the Protestants by the Pope. Right. This is history. And the point of all these wars was to crush the Protestants. And it's a historical fact that the hundreds of thousands that were murdered by the Caesars of Rome is nothing compared to the millions murdered by the popes. And so Leo X was the Pope when Martin Luther nailed his 95 thesis on the church doors. Leo X was an archbishop at 8 years old. Wow.
I'm sure he was wise and able to make those powerful
8 years
decisions.
Old. Yeah. That guy, he must have shown some amazing talent to be an archbishop at 8 years old. Wow.
Wasn't there a king? Wasn't it like Josiah was a king at 7 or 8 though in the Bible?
Oh, there are a few, but they were always they always had a guy looking over them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
The what do you call that when the
Like
king?
An advisor?
Yes, like a regent.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Until
Or a
they were of
steward.
age.
Yeah.
But well, I think. Anyways, there's a few young Israelite kings. There's one at 8 years old. Was it Joash or whatever? But Leo X becomes a cardinal at age 13. So Leo X held 27 different church offices as a child.
Wow.
This which made his income. Made him extremely rich by the time he was 13. Leo X, as Pope, was appointing cardinals, multiple cardinals, at the age of 7 years old. Like said, okay, you're 7.
Yeah.
The cardinal's right under the Pope.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I guess that was a thing. And the Roman Catholic Church's answer to Martin Luther and everything he got rolling was an inquisition under the Jesuits. And so the Jesuits' supreme goal was the destruction of anyone that did not agree with the Pope. The Jesuits' main principle was there had to be absolute, unconditional obedience to the Pope. Look at where this went from the Gospels.
Yeah.
Like, think about Jesus
yeah.
walking the earth, being crucified,
Right.
dying,
Right.
and then look at where we are. Look at where it's gone at this point within, I don't know, 1,500 years, right? They also were trying to recover territory lost to the Protestants, lost to the Muslims. It was their goal to conquer the entire heathen world for the Roman Catholic Church. I don't know where you find that in the Bible, but maybe they're using the Israelites as an example.
I have no idea.
But you are not allowed to think anything different than the Pope thought or spoke. Anything in any way. The Jesuits, any way they could, any way they wanted to do it, they could exterminate everyone that did not think like the Pope. And they could murder. They could do it through deception. In France, you had something called St. Bartholomew's Massacre, the persecution of the Huguenots. St. Bartholomew's Day Massacre of French Huguenots. Those are the Protestants in Paris, August 24th and 25th, 1572. The mother of the king, Catherine de' Medici, carried out by Roman Catholic nobles and other citizens. It was one event in a series of civil wars between Roman Catholics and Huguenots. Listen, that one day, August 24th, 25th, they killed 70,000 Protestants.
Wow, that's a lot.
In one day. And it was a turning point for France. And there were similar regular days like this in Spain, Netherlands, Germany, Austria, Poland. They massacred literally millions, if you add it all up. The mother of the king in the St. Bartholomew Massacre gave the order. She was a dedicated Roman Catholic.
I'm sure she was.
Yeah.
And so, 70,000 Huguenot Protestants were massacred on August 24th. And you know what Rome did when they got the word? Rome threw a party. They had praise and worship services commemorating everything that had happened in France.
Doesn't a party happen when the two witnesses get murdered in the tribulation? Don't they give parties and gifts? Okay.
They said they send each other
gifts.
So that's a thing, huh? Partying when you massacre people that serve the Lord like that?
The Pope sent a cardinal to Paris to bear the mother of the king congratulations personally.
Wow.
So there was a country called Bohemia. Is Bohemia still a country?
It's part of Germany.
Is it?
Kind of. It's like a region.
Bohemia had 4 million people.
Yeah.
At that time.
I believe.
80% of them were Protestants in the year 1600. When the Jesuits were done with Bohemia, you had 800,000 people left in that whole country out of 4 million.
Wow. That's a lot.
It's the Czech land, so it's like over there.
They killed 3.2 million
right
people.
Next to Germany. It was part of the German area.
3.2 million people in Bohemia.
Goodness gracious.
Austria and Hungary, 1/3 of their populations were Protestant. All of their 1/3, all of the Protestants in Austria. It is estimated that they got all of them.
Wow.
They killed them all in Austria and Hungary, murdered by the Catholic Church. So we can never appreciate or understand what it meant to be a Christian at that time.
No.
To stand up for your faith. To stand up for the fact that you would be allowed to pray to God the Father yourself in the name of Jesus directly. As Jesus says in the Gospels, don't pray to me, pray to the Father in my name.
Yeah.
To believe that anyone can read the Bible. This is what these people believe.
Yeah.
They burned at the stake to believe that they are justified in God's eyes because of the death, burial, and resurrection of Jesus Christ. That you didn't have to go sit down in front of a Catholic priest and confess your sins.
Right.
To a man that's just as fallible as you.
Right.
If not, in some cases, more. To believe you had to die for these things. Think about that. Because they are coming for you. They were coming for you. And in the environment, like, if I didn't like John, I could go tell the Inquisition that John said this, and this to me.
Whether it was true or not.
Yes, and the Inquisition would show up at his house and torture him. So it was just hell. It was hell. We're talking the dark ages here.
Yeah.
If you believed in the gospel of Jesus Christ, you were subject to death, right? So we get up to Leo the 13th, who was Pope from 1878 to 1903. And this Pope said, I am in charge of all the rulers on the earth, even at this late a time.
How'd that
late
go
1800s.
in America.
Yeah, that's right. How did that go in America? And Leo XIII, the Pope, claimed that he holds the place of God on the earth.
Wow.
This is quoting Leo XIII.
He was the Pope.
I would love to find where he finds that that permission in the scriptures.
Oh, it's like the Catholics say. They have their own Bible. I'm sure it says that in their own Bible. And we'll get to that eventually. He was very, very, very outspoken about papal infallibility. He pronounced Protestants as the enemies of the Christian name. Leo XIII said, you cannot go to heaven if you are not in complete submission to the papacy.
Huh.
And even today, like Catholics that I talk to, I'll be like, you know, what's the deal with your Pope and the support of LGBTQ?
Yeah.
What is the deal with that? Oh, man, we're not allowed to talk about him. We're not allowed to talk about him. Oh. You're not allowed to talk about that, huh? The fact that he supports, you know, homosexuality?
My in-laws do not buy into the Pope's agendas.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
So they're not in complete submission to the papacy?
Correct.
According to Leo XIII,
They might not. They're not going to heaven, according to Leo XIII.
Well,
they're not popes. He's not their pope.
I think they believe more directly in Jesus rather than the Pope.
That's good.
And that's what I'm saying. There are definitely Catholics that do. There are so many branches of Catholicism, but we're talking about Roman. We're talking about the Vatican here, right? And the history and looking at these Leos. Leo the 12th, also a pope, reproved Louis the 18th. That was the French king.
Louis.
Louis the 18th granted a liberal French constitution, and Leo the 12th hated that, right?
How dare you?
Pope Gregory the 16th denounced Belgium's constitution in 1832. Now we're getting close here, right? I mean, we're getting, that's only 20 years from the Civil War? The suppression of freedom of conscience is what the Catholic Church has always been about. Imprisonment and torture for centuries of non-Catholics, people that believed Jesus Christ was their Lord and Savior, and were tortured and murdered in the millions because they would not bow to the papacy. This was the Catholic Church's agenda for 1,500 years. Yeah, more like 1,500 years. And the Roman Catholic Church, they were closely allied with Hitler. Everybody just puts that under the rug.
That's fine.
People don't want to admit that. That's the truth.
It's crazy because Hitler was very much into the occult, very much wanting to. I mean, we've talked about that in a few episodes, but to then have the Catholic Church being rubbing elbows with a guy who's so deeply into the occult.
But remember, he mimicked all of his ceremonies and everything the Nazi soldiers did after the Catholic Church. His masses.
Well, it's very interesting.
Many Nazis that had to flee Germany after they lost the war were hidden through a network of Catholic churches throughout Europe until they could get to Argentina or Uruguay or one of these countries in South America. The Catholic Church was a supporter of Mussolini, the dictator of Italy. These are totalitarian governments that they backed. Hitler viewed his policies with the Jews as no different than what the Catholic Church had done for 1,500 years. The Catholic Church has never been a friend of the Jewish people. And so there's a 1929 something called Concordat with Mussolini, and a 1933 Concordat between, the Pope of the Roman Catholic Church and Hitler and Mussolini.
Lonaiah and I are both like, what's heck is a Concordat?
And this is a matter of record. They were backing him years before he even went into Poland, before he invaded Poland.
An agreement or treaty between the Vatican and a secular government relating to matters of mutual interest.
And they had it.
Matters of mutual
They had
interest.
treaties with Hitler and Mussolini.
That is damning.
And you know what? Well,
What?
let's just spread the blame here. fine. They had treaties with them, but the Protestant churches in Germany in the late 1920s and the early 30s, the silence of the Protestant churches in America,
big time.
We certainly aren't much better off.
No.
All right. That's what you get when you keep your mouth shut.
Yeah.
All right. But you get 6 million people. That's a low number. Exterminated. Yep. And we weren't signing, but at least the Protestant church wasn't signing contracts.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, concordats.
Well, and the other thing is concordat. Yo.
Wow, that was good.
I think one of the things for Protestantism is it's much more decentralized.
Yes,
like it's you belong to you might belong to a denomination, but it's not like a global power. It is usually just run from a
he was
local
giving
or
dictatorial powers. That's what he was given. Hitler. He was given moral legitimacy to the Nazi regime.
Yeah.
Through quasi-dictatorial powers through the Enabling Act of 1933 that was concordated with the Catholic Center Party.
And he was already killing Jews by 33. And so let me tell you something. This is the puzzling thing, and it really makes you wonder about the Catholic Church today.
Yeah.
Means harmony. Concordat in Latin means harmony.
You don't want harmony with
wow, this just goes really deep. You can just keep clicking and finding
the
way
world
more
has concluded that Hitler was evil, correct?
Yes.
Correct.
Mussolini was evil. Did you know that to this day, the Catholic Church has never excommunicated Hitler or Mussolini? Okay, there's
wild.
something about that.
That's a problem.
There's something about that. Mm-hmm. This channel that the Catholic Church used to get Nazis out of Germany after they had lost the war was called the Rat Lines. These were real. And this was all run, funded, hidden by the Vatican, getting Nazis out of Europe. Wow. Plenty of books written on that.
I'm gonna attach this thing to this.
All these popes. Pius IX, Innocent III. Boy, you see Innocent III a lot. Pius VIII, Gregory IX, Clement XI, Leo XII, Gregory XVI. All these popes condemned reading the Bible.
Look, this is an agreement with the Catholic Church. I just found out.
It's just
openly condemned it.
Completely
can't hide it.
Yeah, and that was what I was saying last week about the Gutenberg press to have the ability to print the Bible for every Joe on the street could have their own copy of the Bible. That was a major. It's not surprising that the Protestant Reformation and the printing press kind of came into their own at the same time.
I remember learning. I mean, I know this was way back in whatever
the early 70s,
1983, but about the Gutenberg or that press, printing press being the most important invention that's ever happened.
Right.
Really, if you look at it,
absolutely.
Yeah, look what we're using today.
That
was
changed
the
world.
Dissemination of knowledge.
It changed the world.
Yeah.
At that point.
Yep.
But these popes that I just listed off openly condemned reading the Bible, and they condemned Bible societies, any Bible studies of any type. What does that tell you when you're not allowed to read the Bible?
Sounds like the other cults.
Sounds like someone wants to control the truth.
Clement VIII, Leo XII, Innocent X, Pius VIII, Pius IX. Imagine your name is Pius. What's your name? My name's Pius Hammond. Pius.
I imagine someone named Pius.
Leo XIII. These guys protested, condemned, and annulled religious freedom. They didn't think there should be such a thing as religious freedom. In other words, you can't read the Bible and say, this is what it says. This is what I believe. You didn't have that kind of freedom back then. It was just dangerous. Mm-hmm. Can you imagine where we'd be if the Protestant church did not break away?
Yeah, it'd be a whole different world.
We might still be in the Middle Ages.
We'd be in some major revolutions, in my opinion.
Where would the world be? And they only supported religious tolerance in countries where the Catholics are the minority. Mm-hmm. Right?
Oh.
Interestingly enough, they said, we'll tolerate other beliefs and religions always only when they were the minority.
because they wouldn't have the power to enforce it.
Let's get into purgatory. There's something involving purgatory, and we'll get more into the doctrine in future episodes here, but something involving purgatory, which originated from this originates from paganism. Mm-hmm. Purgatory originates from paganism. It has nothing to do with Abraham's bosom, all right? But they had something called indulgences.
Yes.
Where you could buy your way out of purgatory. Hey, if you pay this much money on here on earth, then that's your guarantee that you won't go to purgatory, which according to them is one step above hell, I believe.
You're stuck in a holding place until you're purified and you're holy enough to go to heaven.
These indulgences, to be able to buy your way out of a purgatory issued by the Catholic Church, was huge revenue.
That'd be like us selling a certificate.
For heaven.
For heaven.
Look, Pope Sixtus IV, 1476, was the first pope to apply that to souls that deemed were already in purgatory. So
you could buy your dad
you could buy people out of purgatory. Imagine if you could buy someone out of hell.
Yeah.
Imagine if we taught that from our pulpit.
I would leave.
Revenue would be through the charts.
Or none at all.
Or none
in 1517, John...
I think in this day and age, if you had that Venmo Cash App, people would probably Venmo some money to get out of hell.
Oh, probably.
Yeah.
In 1517, John Tetzel came to Germany. He had a whole stack of certificates signed by the Pope, giving a pardon of all sins to anyone that bought their certificate. Apart from confession, no confession.
What a money laundering
no repentance.
Just a scam.
Or no absolution.
An absolute scam.
You just buy the certificate.
What's that?
That the Pope sent. His name was John Tetzel.
Deborah keeps
keeps calling me. What does she need? My mom.
Debbie C.
Gosh.
She said, usually you're not recording on
7
Wednesday
times
morning.
in a row.
That's what all parents do,
she
right?
She wants to know what you're doing for the 4th.
No, it's so dumb. Okay, anyway, go ahead.
The Vatican has always opposed the government by the people.
For the people.
Beginning with the Magna Carta. Those of you who don't know what the Magna Carta was, in 1215, think about how this freedom started getting talked about. 1215 was the first document to put in writing the principle that the king and his government was not above the law.
That's a big thing.
And it sought to prevent the king from exploiting his power, place limits of royal authority by establishing law as a power in itself. And so this is considered the father of all European constitutions and was immediately denounced by Pope Innocent III.
Yeah.
Who was Pope from 1198 to 1216. Oh, wow.
Wow.
Freedom.
He was just prior to Clement, right? Clement V?
I don't know we're not going through every pope, right?
Right.
But he encouraged King John, this Pope Innocent III, to use foreign mercenaries to fight the barons that were bringing what he called independent destruction to the country. Fast forward a bit, wanted to make sure you understood history. And we took it into the early 20th century, really blood, destruction, religious control, all in the name of the papacy, all in the name of submitting to the Pope. On March 29th, 1994, this is a joint declaration called Evangelicals and Catholics Together, the Christian Mission in the Third Millennium. This was signed by a large number of the most influential evangelical leaders at that time, and it was signed by the Catholic leadership. So this is implying a compromise of the gospel of Jesus Christ. Because if you're going to do that, you're compromising.
Yeah.
All right? Does this document imply that the millions of Christians that the Catholic Church burned at the stake were just an unfortunate misunderstanding?
That's a way to absolve yourself from sins.
That's one way to look at it.
Technically, in the Catholic Church's writings, the persecution of Protestants is still an official policy. And in other words, if they were in the same position of power that they were in 13, 14, 1500s, they'd be doing the same thing. The ssame thing. You can't hide that. It's still there.
Yeah.
They haven't taken it out.
No.
Why wouldn't you take that out?
My kids get attacked all the time for being Christians at their Catholic school from the religion teachers.
Yeah, it's interesting that a lot of Catholics would consider themselves Christians.
They do, but they say that we're the laziest, we're the laziest of all the religions.
Yeah.
The Christians. That's what she said.
Because we don't buy our
do our Hail Marys.
Boy, did I send her an email.
Did you?
I sure did.
And what did she say back?
She apologized and apologized to Leighton. Yeah, and then Leighton and her became really good friends.
Oh, that's great.
Look, the Roman Catholic Church has stepped up its evangelical strategies of Protestants since that time, since we signed and said, hey, let's all be friends, which is a lot of the reason we're doing this podcast. I think it's interesting that on May 22nd, 1995, many people that know what we're talking about believe that the Pope on this date was responding to a book written by a scholar by the name of Dave Hunt called A Woman Rides the Beast. So, the Roman Catholic Church in the Last Days. Dave Hunt, A Woman Rides the Beast. I'm reading it now.
Yeah.
It's the Roman Catholic Church in the Last Days. He was responding to this book. The Pope, many believe, this book had come out. The Pope was in an abandoned Soviet air base with an audience of 100,000 people, which is low.
Probably flew him
That's
all
weird
in.
already.
Sounds like Jim Jonesy.
Which is low for a low number of people for him. The Pope asked for forgiveness for all the crimes and sins committed of omission and commission by the Catholic Church against Christians, Protestants over the centuries.
Well, that's
was
good.
Nice.
I mean, that's something. That's something.
Listen, you have to do serious digging. But there are people out there that have done serious digging because they try to bury a lot of this stuff we're telling you. Their whole history, they don't even go where we're telling you they go. They've dismissed it without comment. And that's what they do. They dismiss, from a historical point of view, the Pope issuing that statement in 1995 is mind-blowing, an apology. But the Pope doing that, and this is where we're going to take the next podcast, what does it puts all those people burning at the stake in the past. Water under the bridge. Gee, sorry about that.
Millions and millions of people.
You would think that the Pope making a statement like this would bring down barriers that have been up for centuries.
Well, it's going to be really hard when they continually say that the Pope answers directly to God, but the popes prior to them were doing such heinous, evil things.
Not just one or two.
In the name of, in God's name, trying to say it's by the commandment of God through them. I mean, it's tough. They're in a tough spot if they want to be honest about the whole situation.
We're going to get into it next week, and we'll see what see the Vatican wants a worldwide movement. Okay, this is what they want. Are you aware that the Vatican, if you look carefully at their actions since the late 1990s, they've had prayer meetings with Buddhists, snake charmers, Hindus, all manners of paganism, all types. Why? Why are they praying?
Can I say something too?
With Buddhists and Hindus.
Not only are they doing that, but do you remember that during COVID they had World Economic Forum speakers coming, celebrity speakers coming, politicians coming?
Yeah.
Remember the whole Clinton thing, and they were all with the Pope and doing a little.
Anytime they're involved, it's messed up.
A woman rides the beast.
Yeah.
And I thought the Catholic Church was conservative. I thought you would never see the Catholic Church having prayer meetings with Buddhists and pagans.
Right.
They do it when it suits their purpose.
Right.
And we will go farther into that next week.
Sometimes Catholics and Protestants can get along because President Joe Biden, he's a devout Catholic, but his son is a Crystal Methodist.
He's a Crystal. He's a Hiri Christo.
No,
Hiri Christo Methodist.
Crystal Methodist.
Jim didn't get it. Did you get it? Like crystal meth, but Methodist.
I had to stop myself from trying to put that in.
You the whole time.
The whole time.
I'm glad it
you got to
fit.
the
I'm
end.
glad it fit. John's wearing a rad dad shirt.
Hey, my daughter bought this for me for Father's Day. So I'm just representing.
It's good.
Rad dads everywhere.
All right. Well, without too much banter, we'll try to head into the news.
Why? Why would you want to live that life?
It's boring that way.
Oh, it's terrible.
Have you ever been around somebody and they're so serious all the time? Or like they don't understand humor and you try and then it's just like awkwardness that happens.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say the name of the person. But it frustrates me.
Are you talking about me?
No. Well, sometimes I have to explain that it was a joke. But no, not you. There's just...
What would that be?
It doesn't matter. But somebody that I'm very close to in life, and I have to always be like...
Oh, your mom. Oh.
Close. But anyways, you have to like explain things.
Your twin?
Yes. Yes, and you're just like...
It just sucks the humor out of the whole thing.
Like, she's just so serious and literal that you have to be like...
Or
And I spent a lot of time with her.
Nothing.
I didn't hear you.
You can rewind. Right. You can rewind that and try to read my lips on that one.
So, the last time we did a podcast, it was the night of the presidential debate. Since then, the debate has happened. And what everybody, let's not forget, the week before, 2 weeks prior to the debate happening, the White House came out with a statement stating that the Republicans were responsible for Joe Biden's deep fake videos of like him fumbling over words.
Yeah.
Not knowing what he's talking about. Not knowing where
AI.
Those were deep fakes. But after the world stage was set for Joe Biden and he was doing the debate.
Obama trying to lead Joe off the stage because
all those things.
All of those.
But after the debate, I don't know if you watched the debate. I watched the debate so that nobody could like give me like bits and clips that I would like actually see the whole thing and understand.
Yeah.
Okay, if you saw a bit, that's like literally what happened.
Yeah.
But after, I'm like, I'm going to stay on because I don't know what, I think I was watching it on CNN.
Yeah.
And after they cut, after the debate, and they went right to like this panel of like 12 CNN people.
Oh, man, they were shell-shocked.
They were just slaughtering Joe Biden right away. Like, this man should not be. And I thought, you know what? This is so set up.
Well, yeah.
Because
for Michelle
if
Obama.
Any one of them would have been honest. They've seen it all. And they've seen him in this condition because we've been talking about it for over a year.
They've hidden it.
We've been talking about it for almost since this podcast started. Is this man does not have the mental faculties to represent a pony show, let alone
he can't even eat his ice cream right without it dripping down his hand
or falling off a bike or.
Oh, that was funny. Sorry. But anyways, so like after that debate, I thought, look at this. These people, this is what they do. They set the stage and then they just like make you think.
Come on.
They gaslight you both ways. Right. They gaslight you to think like he's fine. And then it's like they're gaslighting you say like, oh my gosh, he's wrong now.
Yeah.
But okay.
And they're saying it's too late to put someone else in, but I don't believe that.
Well, here's the thing.
I don't believe
that. They
that.
met with Joe Biden, but I think he realizes I don't need you guys anymore because no one's voting me out and you don't really have anybody else.
Right.
So like he had a family meeting. I read this. Like what's true? I don't know.
Yeah.
But I read this. And Tucker Carlson does a really good job like interviewing people this week and breaking it down.
Yep.
But they had a family meeting and Hunter Biden says like, he needs to keep going.
Yeah.
He's so popular right now. The vote would be against him. He knows what he's doing. He's a class act. Like, let him run. And then you have Obama who tried to get him to back out. And he's like, I don't need to.
Yeah.
I have the American people. And I read comments. Like, people are like, I would vote for him even if he was a corpse. It doesn't matter. I don't want Trump in office.
Yeah. I'm happy. Go ahead. I would love it if Joe Biden makes it all the way to November. I would rather him be the opponent.
Yeah, I agree.
Do you think they're going to kill him?
They might 25th Amendment.
Is that wrong for us to say?
Well, they don't have to.
Could we get in trouble for that?
They can just...
Why? Because they're calling for the assassination.
Not other people have died in this country.
It's not us. We're not advocating
You mean if he got Clintoned?
Yeah, no kidding.
Listen.
No, but they don't have to, Jim. They can 25th Amendment.
But what's the point of doing that
They're already
right now?
in the process of impeaching him from the House side.
Right.
So the Republicans would be stupid to do that at this point.
Yeah. Well,
so stupid.
An impeachment I mean,
They would be
again,
stupid to do that.
Impeachment
Hunter
doesn't
says
mean
he's one of the strongest
out.
voices, urging Biden to remain in the presidential race.
And they're putting out info right now that Hunter Biden is sitting in on
yes, you
in
guys,
official meetings. Hunter Biden is a criminal.
Chinese.
Oh my gosh!
Owned
There's so
human
many,
beings.
so
and
many
that was
different strings.
that was NBC. That was liberal NBC saying that
and
this
that's,
morning.
I mean,
But see, like that shows you why are they all of a sudden sharing all this information?
Exactly.
Because
When
they're gonna put in Michelle Obama.
I know, but that should tell you
It's a
people
setup.
they have lied to you this whole time.
Yep.
They switch the story when it benefits them and their agenda.
Yep.
Otherwise, like Hunter Biden's name wasn't on plenty of White House logs.
It's the same way that now they're going against the vaccine stuff.
Oh,
saying,
yeah, of course.
saying that they didn't, they weren't for
mandating
vaccines,
You signed the bill,
or saying that
Joe.
people who are unvaccinated were killing everybody else.
Yeah.
And,
And now those
Misinformation.
all
people are
the
making.
pressure and people that got fired for because they weren't vaccinated.
Is that in your
all
news?
of that?
Well, no, you can say it.
The people in Tennessee are getting $700,000 if you got canned because you refused to get the marinara shot back in 2020. If you got canned, then
And from what
Work,
job?
like if your work,
Any sort of job?
yes.
you got the state
They're
of
getting
Tennessee is
700,000.
repaying you $700,000.
That's a lot.
It's a lot. But 41% of Democrats want Joe to drop out of the race. But I don't think he's gonna. I
It's
think
all
he
in
thinks
their
he's.
plan. They're
I
a
think
lot
they're gonna
smarter than
25th
this.
No,
Amendment him.
they love power because Joe Biden did a Vogue
Yeah.
thing, and in it she wrote, "There's no greater power. There's no greater feeling of power than driving down the street with the cop lights on and everybody stopping and pulling aside for you." Like that was her quote about being the president of the United States.
That's like the most minor version
Jill.
of
Jill.
That's a really minor.
I read it and I thought,
part
wow.
of power,
I know.
like traffic.
But
Well,
like this, but you know what all
tells
this
you a lot.
reminds
Tells
me
you a lot
of?
about
It's
her.
so shallow.
All this I can think is like they set all their schemes, and what does the Bible say?
Right.
Like they dig their own pit.
Dig their own pit.
They do,
That's
and
good.
look at here they are. They're falling in it.
Give us rest from the days of adversity until the pit be dug for the wicked.
Thank you, Jim.
That's Psalm 94.
Read
a
Psalm
prayer.
11 when you can. That's really good. Psalm 11, 3-7. Okay, anyways. The Supreme Court ruled, this is big, former President Trump has overwhelming immunity from criminal prosecutions for actions with his constitutional authority. This is a major blow to Biden's regime prosecution. So I feel like this was because of the January 6th charges that the Department of Justice was brought.
Yep.
So it was a decision, I'm sure, the three who voted against him were the three we can think about. But it was a 6-3 decision that he is entitled to substantial presidential immunity. So this could actually, the Supreme Court the week before overturned the January 6th conviction saying that they weren't under the correct statute when they were convicting all of these criminals. So everyone's going to
So there was
changes to
the
they'll
Chevron
probably get
deference
that's what it was.
ruling. So basically, unelected bureaucrats can't impose penalties or any things like this without Congress going, yeah, you have the ability to do that. You have. It's actually going to be one of the biggest things that comes out of this is taking a lot of regulatory stuff out of the hands of unelected bureaucrats.
Like who's doing that? Well, give me an example. What happens because of that?
Well, one of the thing that actually was brought to the court was there's a family-owned business, fishing business on the East Coast, and what is it, the EPA or whoever is controlling that interest or that the regulations, the family had to pay for an agent $700 a day to be on the boat to watch them fish. And so as a family business to have to
That's a
cover
lot.
it, if you go five days a week, that's $3,500 as
That's
a family business, how
ridiculous.
can you even afford that and keep paying the bills? Cuz who are you getting paid $700 a day in a fishing business?
Gosh,
Can
maybe
I jump in
should.
here for a minute?
Yeah.
So an example I saw with the Chevron
Deference.
Yeah.
Yeah.
the one that was made most clear to me in an example was throughout this decision, it was essentially saying that, like you were saying, John, bureaucrats who weren't elected,
Right.
they could give definitions
Yep.
for obscure laws that didn't have a clear definition as what it applied for. So one example I saw was that in 2020 during COVID, OSHA, when they did that big thing where businesses had to make employees get the marinara, that was the biggest one.
That
where
was
OSHA
one of the big ones.
used this Chevron difference to interpret that law to make large businesses over 200 employees make their employees get the marinara.
Marinara being
vaccine.
Yeah.
The product from Pfizer, Moderna, and Johnson
Did you see that
Johnson.
Pfizer now is being asked by the government to create the COVID and bird flu together?
We're going to get that one, aren't we?
No
I'm
kidding.
not.
Right.
Never doing a vaccine again.
Yeah.
This shouldn't surprise us, but I wonder if this is why Klaus is stepping down.
Klaus.
So the World Economic Forum, Klaus Schwab, the
They
leader
don't like
of
me
it,
anymore.
is accused of sexual harassment and discrimination. He is hostile towards women and minorities.
That's crazy. You thought he was a defender
I didn't think he was.
personal freedoms.
You would think that, right? That kind of made me happy. I was like, you know what, Klaus? Yeah, you should step
He's
down.
a creep.
Yeah, Klaus.
I'm not Klaus.
I know, but act like you're Klaus.
I won't go anywhere. I won't go quietly.
Okay.
You'll have to put me in the ground.
Didn't he put his son in charge?
I don't know.
Nepotism.
A lot of weird things going on over
So-
What's he's probably going to be living down there in CERN. Klaus, can't
I'm
you see
sure.
him move
He's
into CERN?
trying to find some portals to
Yes.
escape through.
Yes, CERN.
I don't think that's happening. I don't know. They said he was in the hospital, and then they said all these other things, and then I read that, and I was like, that's what happened to Klaus.
That's a little bit more understandable. Like all of a sudden, he's too unwell to
But think
be
like
apart.
yeah.
Oh no,
No,
he's
he's
actually
not.
in trouble for harassing women, and being a chauvinistic jerk,
And mean.
and mean.
Yeah.
Well,
Just
not
mean.
a rule against being mean.
There isn't. I wish it was sometimes.
He's just mean.
It's just mean.
Okay. So remember how the White House was saying during the debate that immigration was down 40%?
Lies.
We talked about that. That's wrong, okay, you guys?
very-
Don't listen to those lies. This is what I love.
Yeah.
This is one thing that I loved. So during that statement, Biden was making a statement that the
Yeah.
Border Patrol agency backs him and loves him. And Donald Trump looks over, he's like, actually,
Yeah.
I can't remember. He said the name of the Border
Yeah.
Patrol agent. They love me. They back me. And in real time,
Yep.
the Border Patrol agency
Live tweet.
live tweets
Yep.
and says, we do not, nor have we ever supported, stand behind, approve of Joe Biden
Biden.
administration and his regulations of the
Yeah.
border. Like, we
They're
do
like,
not,
don't associate
don't
us.
associate us with you. We don't.
Yeah,
But Biden,
that was funny.
That was funny. That made me laugh so hard. I think I texted that to you.
You did.
Yeah. So Biden allowed over 100,000 illegals into the country in June, and he is re-importing illegal aliens that were deported by former President Donald Trump. Okay, guys, but
Now
he's
that's
down
crazy.
40%.
That's crazy.
Yep.
And the fact that he was it 325 immigrants that he flew over the border.
That's right. We're not even talking about the
We're
ones
not
he
even
flew into the
like,
country.
They didn't even have to get here. They flew in.
They did. They flew in.
They didn't have to cross a border. They flew over.
How
it.
nice. How nice would that be?
How many
Very
Palestinians
convenient.
has he gotten in? We haven't heard that yet.
Well, I'm sure it's
sure.
coming. I was watching
tens of
a
thousands.
little blip from Sage Steele, and I meant to
Yeah.
send it to you today, John.
You didn't.
But she had 2 national security advisors.
Oh, I saw
Did
it
you see
myself.
that?
Though that was
Okay.
awesome.
Wasn't it like the
Yeah.
guy was stating that
We need
we
need
will
to
attach
connect-
it.
yeah, we need to
We'll
attach
just
that.
attach it. But
Yep.
basically,
Check this Sage Steele thing out in the
you should
notes.
watch a whole episode.
Yeah.
First
Very
of all,
important.
she's amazing.
She's very
But the
good.
guy explains the national security under Biden versus under Trump.
Yep.
And I watched, I think it was like a 30-second, 45-second clip.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my gosh, I sent it to my dad. And I was like, Dad, you have to watch this. And he texts back and he's like, wow, that was amazing. But so basically under Biden, 7 U.S. embassies in other countries have had to close down because he has allowed them to, like, these other countries to push against him, and that they're saying that shows a sign of weakness. Like, under President Trump, he didn't ever step down, and he actually went to the Taliban leaders and was like, if you do this, you will pay. If you do this, you will pay to all these other countries. But Biden's like, okay, like, you can do whatever you want to us. And they're going into detail about Trump's, like, play-by-play plan to withdraw out of Afghanistan.
Right.
Because even during the debate, Biden was trying to throw that under Trump.
Well, and two of the people she was talking to, the two people, they're two of the 4 black representatives in the House of Representatives.
Okay, that's who they are. Yeah. But they're phenomenal.
They're awesome. One of them is Byron Donald, who is one of my favorites.
That's who it is.
But
John's going to send it so we can attach it. But it was really good.
Finish it off, because you should finish that. So, well, I'll just continue the story.
Ahead, John.
So that guy was in the meeting with the Taliban and President Trump. And Trump said, we're going to do a step-by-step plan. We'll do this, and if you abide and it works out, it's good, and we'll proceed on. And he said, if you harm a single hair on a single American, I will kill you. And then he took a picture out of his pocket and gave it to that Taliban leader, and it was the satellite photo of his house. Mm-hmm. And Trump got up and walked out.
Can you imagine Joe Biden doing that?
Yeah.
No, he left them, $26 billion worth
and
of
we lost
$86 billion worth of military equipment. Made the Taliban the 26th largest military in the world.
We lost 13 American soldier lives, not to mention however many thousands of American allies that were stranded there.
And let's not forget that during that time, I read so much during that time of some of the people who got killed. They were asking, hey, can we do this? This person's here. The person who was on, like, the watch list, who they were saying was going to come and harm them, is on the bridge. And they're like, stand down, like, the whole time. So Joe Biden had plenty of opportunities to stop the Afghan thing from being a total debacle, but he didn't. So, okay, we're going to end on this. This is interesting because, like, the AI thing, they're trying to make it be, like, mainstream. Right. So during the Olympics now, you know who Al Michaels is? He's the voice of the Olympics. But they're going to use an AI voice clone to do, like, recaps of the Olympics every day of Al Michaels' voice. And he said, at first I was really skeptical when they approached me. But he's like, after they showed it to me, it was mind-blowing and I'm all in. Yeah. It's like they're just, like, slowly making it mainstream for AI to take over.
Well, it can be a tool. I mean... And
it is most a tool,
people,
John. According
most
to
people have the ability to use this.
Yeah, you can.
It's just you have to then go, do you trust what you're hearing and what you're seeing, or is someone manufactured what you're seeing or hearing with AI or digital tools? That's the biggest thing for me. On sports and the Olympics, and they want to do an AI simulated Al Michaels. I don't really care about that.
Right, but I'm saying they're desensitizing you to AI.
Sure,
because, like, Amazon replaced 100,000 human jobs with 750,000 robots. Okay? And this is funny. I was reading a story.
Wait. 100,000 human jobs.
So, like, Amazon replaced 100,000 workers with 750,000 robots.
Okay. Then because that saves them money?
It saves them money.
Yes, but did you see the Chinese robot? The Chinese robot worked... He did, like, house chores for a year and never took a break. And then he, like, fell asleep, and they can't wake him up. And he's like, he's too tired to do anything. And I sent it to my sisters. I was like, try adding 3 kids on top of that housework. Yeah. Okay, robot.
They can't,
or a puppy dog.
Yeah, big.
The Chinese wouldn't have more than one child for a long time. Or a puppy dog. Those are way harder than
way harder. You know what, Jim? Maybe we'll get you a robot for your dog. Rolly can have a robot there.
Hey, bro, you know what? He would love him.
He would love him.
He probably would.
Well, he picks anyone over me.
I don't think it's sad. I think you're with him all the time.
Yes.
So it's like a little kid. Like when you're around their other relatives,
I'm with him all the time, and he's with me. Yes.
All the time. Well, you bring him to work. That's a choice that you make.
I know. Unfortunately, he's waiting for us.
And he's been trained in defense tactics, so don't try anything.
No.
Oh, okay.
Plus, the door's locked, I think.
The door is locked. The door is locked. Your dog is safe, Jim.
I hope
someone has to get through security first to get to your dog in the door.
I hope we have... What's security?
The door. You have to have a fob to get in.
I thought you were talking about something else. Listen.
We love you, security.
They don't watch.
Yes, they do. Rand
absolutely
watches.
do.
Oh, race.
But Rand's at the other end of the building.
If he's here.
That's what I meant. Like, this is a holiday. Nobody's here today.
Oh, okay. Well,
Rand makes his rounds.
they all make the rounds. Yes.
Yes, I see Rand.
We have
Hi, Rand.
We have the AI
Rand.
security guard that's watching all the cameras.
Yes, we do have that. And we have the 3 AI securities out in the bushes out there.
You go to turn here.
Yeah.
We got the bird drones too.
Yes.
Yeah.
You'd be surprised what we have here at church. So,
Yeah.
Anyway, about next week,
what about it?
Yeah, John.
we'll be back.
Oh. We will. Check out
going
the Israel
deeper to
trip.
the-
Check out the Israel trip on the website. Yeah. Okay. Plenty of
Jim, you just have to say, check out the Israel, and then it goes.
Check out the Israel. October 6th through the 18th, 2024, the Final Hour podcast is hosting a tour to Israel. We're excited about this tour. As of now, we have 30 people that are signed up.
31.
31. Thank you. We can have as many as 100. And so I'm just believing that the Lord puts the number of people that he wants. We can have up to 2 buses. The cost is $4,500. The tour, JFK to Tel Aviv, round trip. You have 2 meals a day, hotels taken care of. And so you're going to have to get to JFK. I know that you think that what a terrible place to go, but there's tours going all over Israel right now. My mother is, as we speak, in a tour with Billy Brim. And so, we're still in the Galilee. We're still in Jerusalem. We're still at the Dead Sea. We're still at all these places. Check that out. Pray about that. And to get to that, you just go to the Final Hour podcast website and you can see Israel in the top right-hand corner. I think our producer, he always puts something up for that. Please pray about it. And it's 12 days. It's a really good price, $4,500. Yes. How's that again, John? Yes, and we'll end on that. Thank you for tuning in. Subscribe.
Oh, wait. Can you hear that? It's the podcast music. Nice. Yeah. I love that jingle. That's good. Lonaiah can't hear it.
I can't hear it. I don't have an imagination.